Okay, I never make videos like these because I usually leave all the drama stuff to other channels. But this is something that I want to talk about because it's honestly kind of ridiculous. So, just last night, itch.io and a little bit of Steam, but mostly itch.io, had a big cut on all their NSFW content. And this was all due to Collective Shout, which, if you don't know, is the organization that literally controls all of our payments. Like, if you were to make a payment on Steam, Collective Shout is the company that actually processes that payment and then sends it to PayPal. I think. I don't know. Either way, they did a full cut on NSOW content on itch.io for the reason of cutting down on games that involve child abuse and women abuse and stuff like that. But they're doing the wrong thing for the right reason, is what I'm basically seeing it as. Because if they had just gotten rid of, for example, the coffin of Andy and Lele on Steam, which they didn't, that I would understand because they wanted to do a full cut on games that involved incest as well, which the coffin Andy and Lele literally is. Yet that's still up. But they actually got rid of all NSFW content on itch.io entirely, including, the full adult content, which is where the concern lies. So, when you look at it on paper, it is a great idea. I even agree with it. Finding a way to cut down on games that borderline on literal pedophilia, incest, abuse to a degree. I think that's not that bad of a plan, honestly, because there are some disgusting games out there. But they went as far as to go after Grand Theft Auto 5, which just that alone shows you the true intentions of what they're actually trying to do. They went after GTA because you're able to beat up women and kill them and do a lot of heinous things to them. But it's like how they kept talking about GTA back then, in the aspect of that is literally the only thing that GTA is. You just go around beating up women when it literally isn't. But they give the excuse that it's to cut down on misogyny. But here's the counter argument. You don't want to see women getting hurt. You don't want to see children getting hurt. So you're trying to cut down on these games that portray that. But there are so many games that portray that. For example, look at Street Fighter, for example. You have female characters in that fighting game. They are literally martial artists. They are beating each other up. And you could play as female characters. The most prominent one is Chun-Li. But if you don't want to see women getting hurt, what? Capcom has to just completely erase Chun-Li now? Or Mortal Kombat? You want to get rid of Melania? Or Melina? Actually, Melania too. You want From Software to just go into Elden Ring, the top selling From Software game of all time, literally game of the year, and you want to cut out Melania? They're like one of the hardest bosses ever made for that genre. Or what about, like Charlie said in his video, what about Atreus in God of War? Atreus, at a young age, had to see his mother die, had to cross the 9 realms, literally fought Nordic deities, all so that he could spread her ashes at the tallest peak to remember her death. You see a young kid going through hardships, but you also see him grow. But if you want to cut down on children being portrayed in those kind of aspects, you are literally getting rid of some of our best games because of personal preference. And we know for a fact it's not going to stop at games, because there are tons, and I mean tons, of movies that also portray both women and children being hurt. Like, look at any movie about war. It won't show you directly, but if it's a good movie that shows you the tragedies of war, you know that a lot of women and children were caught in the crossfire. There were women and children that were fighting during World War II. But if you want to cut down on that for misogynistic reasons, then you are deliberately being misogynistic yourselves by not allowing women to be portrayed as strong enough to actually face hardships like that. You are literally saying that all women are damsels in distress and children are, well, borderline pathetic. Like, so what's next? You're going to cut down on all media that involves such things? There are movies that are made for a reason. There are movies that portray bullying or abuse mainly for educational purposes and to show the world that this is a problem and that the world should step up and do something about it. And games, majority of the world are gamers, at least of the new generation. We are all gamers at heart. So what's the easiest way of getting us gamers to actually recognize such a problem? You put stuff like that in the games that we play, so that we see what's going on, so that we recognize what terrible deeds are happening in the world right now, so that we have a better understanding of it. It's the same thing as how they started putting that in movies, and before that, comic books. But by you wanting to cut down on all that stuff, and it's not even the factor of, like, you're going to these companies and telling them, hey, maybe tone down on this. You are deliberately going to websites and telling us that we can't buy this because we say no. Really, your bank statement can say, no, I don't want you to buy this because you wanted to buy Red Dead or something. That is where it's most likely going to reach, and where it's going to flat out be detrimental to literally all of us. Because the entire world at this point is slowly starting to be censored. And it's not even an aspect of censoring because of kids at this point. Because at this point, people in the government don't actually care about the kids. They care more about the sensitive people, the snowflakes. Because let's be honest, when we were kids, we would look at stuff like that. You know, we wouldn't choose to, but we would be exposed to it. And what happened to us? We understand it. We grew up. We know how bad it is. We know how to counteract it. But the government and the media is literally bubble wrapping everything to the point that majority of adult men, mostly men, but the majority of adults are actually becoming babyfied. They're all basically being converted into VR chat users at this point. Because the IQ has literally dropped so low that some of these kids in school, they can't even read, and they're in like 7th grade. And that's not even an exaggeration. There were some people in my school that I knew could barely read. But at this point, it's like everyone is being treated like a child. You can't go out and watch an M-rated film. You can't go play... They don't want you to go play GTA. You can't look at porn. You can't do anything that, is technically a privilege of being an adult. And that's being able to choose when you want to see mature content. Because you are mature. But by them getting rid of mature content, it's literally turning all adult people, men, women, children, not children, that makes sense. It's taking all like adult men, women, and other, and making it to where they can't enjoy adult content either. It's basically like, when you're growing up and you're in middle school and you're dreaming of when you're old enough to get a driver's license or to get a job or something, and you finally reach that point and you can go out and do it? Well, no, you can't. You could be 35 and you're basically back to being 16. Because I'm saying this for the men. We wanted to be 18 so that we could look at adult content. When we were kids, when we were like 11, we wanted to play GTA. We wanted to play Call of Duty. We still did, but that's what we wanted to. We didn't want, have to constantly be looking over our shoulder every 5 minutes to see if our mom is watching us while we're, robbing a bank or something. Or, hell, even just playing an adult game like, I don't know, let's say Mass Effect or something. Something that's a little bit more explicit. We're going to lose all of that because our credit card companies are flat out just going to say, no, you can't buy this. I don't like it. You can't buy that. It is our literal U.S. right and freedom to be able to choose what we buy. If you want to buy a game that is literally porn... If you want to buy a porn game, that's within your legal right. You work for that money. If that's what you want to buy, go ahead and buy the damn game. That is your legal right. Sure, if it's something explicit and very bad, then people are going to question you, but it's still your right to buy something like that. That's your money. Your company can't tell you no unless you are physically buying off the black market. That's where it gets ridiculous. I don't care if porn is getting cut off, but you can't just destroy porn. You can't just destroy sex. You can't destroy violence. You can't put a blindfold over everyone's eyes by keeping them from buying stuff like that. The most popular games in the world have explicit content in them. Even the most child-friendly games will have aspects of maturity in it. I'll bet you by 2030, if this is not changed and fixed, if you go buy your kid a Leapfrog or something, and you get them a game that's supposed to teach them, how to grow up, how to cook or something, it's straight up not going to. It's literally going to say, it's kind of ABCs, it's kind of 1, 2, 3s. Oh, wait, 1, 4, 7, 12. Like, come on, man. Like, it's like the world is believing that the general demographic that exists are all literally just a fetus at this point. Which, I'm also going to make this real quick point about, not wanting to see women and children getting hurt. What about Minecraft? Or really, what about any game? Because unless you're playing, I don't know, solitaire or something, if a kid or if a woman decides to go and play a game that has enemies in it, that has bosses in it, say there's I don't know, a female streamer that wants to play Elden Ring or something, and she's getting her ass kicked by a boss, you're gonna get rid of it. By that logic, you need to get rid of Elden Ring because it's a woman getting beat up in a game, right? Or again, Minecraft. You don't want women and children getting hurt, so by that logic, you should get rid of Minecraft because women are able to play it, because children are able to play it, and they can get hurt. They can get jumped by zombies and 45 skeletons, or get fucking jumped by a spider or something. Like, by that logic, you want to get rid of all games and all movies in general. You don't want to see women and children in media in general. Which I already explained and already talked about. And that's where I say, flat out, it's bullshit. It is bullshit to the highest degree. Because you can't choose what we decide to look at. It's the same thing with why the government got rid of TikTok for like a week for a PR stunt. Because they were showing explicit content that they didn't like. It is within our legal choice and our legal right to see what we want to see. It was whatever when they started cutting down on like swearing and stuff on YouTube. Like back in the early 2010s, because YouTube back then was literally like a Wild West. You could like type in 3 characters and you would see a guy getting a fellatio or something. But nowadays, even if you want to look up something as simple as like, I don't know, how to treat a wound or something, or looking up an infection or something, that's probably now going to get cut because we don't want to show explicit content. I know you just got shot in the chest with like 40 rounds of buckshot, but we can't show you how to deal with that because it's not kid friendly enough. Everything has to be rated E for everyone. Like, you know who you sound like? You sound like that one, I can't remember his name right now, but you sound like that one dude that reviews TVs that literally ruined his entire, like, social image because of some stuff he said about Elden Ring. Like, genuinely. You sound ridiculous. What's next? Are you going to bust down my door and arrest me because I'm naked in the shower? Saying that's not kid-friendly enough? Are you gonna shoot every man, woman, whatever, that is holding a knife, cutting up vegetables for dinner because you don't want to see violence? You're being violent to that onion, so now you're dead? Like, maybe I'm being, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that's the kind of portrayal that we're getting. Like, at this point, you can't watch anything either without it being censored or without it just being completely ruined, honestly. Like if you want to, even if you wanted to buy something cool, like I don't know, a cool poster, or if you want to buy like Charlie said, if you wanted to go out and buy a sword or something, or not even a sword for like display purposes. What if you just wanted to go online and buy maybe a utility knife, or even something for self-defense? Now your credit card company could just tell you no, you can't buy that. That's where it's literally flat out illegal, but that's where it's literally ridiculous. Because you can't censor what is literally deliberately part of life. Because in real life, you're gonna see people get hurt. As a kid, you're gonna get bullied. As a woman, you're gonna trip and break a nail. People get hurt. People go through hardships. You can't stop that because that's life. It's not like you can go out to the middle of a war zone and wiggle your finger like a Latino mom saying, no, 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 you can't do that because women or children are getting hurt. That's not how it works. And by censoring that in media, not even just games, media in general, kids nowadays are not going to understand that you can't do that. The reason why it's portrayed in games, why you are why games show hardships is for growth, and they show people getting beat up so that you learn not to do it. And the people who take such games and learn from it to go and do that are put in a mental asylum. Because if you can't discern the difference between a game and real life, maybe you shouldn't be involved in it in general. Quite frankly, you shouldn't be invested in our wallets and our payments to begin with. That's like the whole the crap with MiHoJo right now, or whatever the hell it's called. They're literally going to control our wallets and our payments for us. That's not right. That's not right at all. You can't control the world, and you can't control our payments. That's not how it works. That's not how the world works. You're not playing The Sims. That's all I got. I just think it's ridiculous. And I really wanted to get my voice out on it. And the worst part about it is, we just literally got 1 million signatures on Stop Killing Games. But now we don't even have to worry about the big companies getting rid of our games. We have to literally worry about our own payment companies saying no and getting rid of all of our mature media because they don't like it. And that is bullshit.